talk to Gage.
Oh, hello. I was playing some Metroid Prime. But I have some things I want to talk about. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of games I got to talk about in this video. So I haven't made a video talking about video games in a hot minute. It's definitely been a little while since last time I made a video like this. But, you know, I've been just kind of struggling to come up with video ideas, and I just kind of realized that I think the beauty of my channel and what I really like to do with it is just whatever's on my mind or whatever I just kind of am in the mood to do is just kind of what I do. You know, if I want to talk about my favorite movies of all time, I do that. If I want to talk about new games I've been playing, then I'll do that. Or, you know, if I do a podcast episode, you know, with my brothers, I'll make one of those. So yeah, lately I've been collecting and playing a variety of Switch games, and I say lately, but really this is kind of a semi-big gap of time between the earliest game in this stack to the latest game that a couple games I got just yesterday. But I figured I would just kind of talk about them in no particular order and just kind of give my brief thoughts on all of them. And, you know, I did start this video with Metroid, so we may as well talk about this. Metroid Prime Remaster is phenomenal. It is so amazing. I remember playing this game on the Wii with the Metroid Prime Trilogy collection, and it was really good and I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I must say this is like the best way to play this game. I've been enjoying it so much, and I'm not super far into it. I wouldn't even say I'm like 10 hours in, which really this game is not that long. It probably is 10 hours long, but just from what I've played, it's so excellent, and I think it looks phenomenal. It's almost like a full remake of the game, just with how good it looks. And, you know, you look at the visuals and think like, oh, you know, that's basically a port, right? That's pretty similar to what it used to look like, but no, it looks so much better, so much more different, and I'm really impressed with what they did with this game. I'm so happy with it, so enthusiastic about it. It just feels good to play. It's cool to just play a game that doesn't have like this crazy told to you type of story, but something that's a little more subtle, a little more immersive. You know, that's what I like so much about many games, and that's what I really like about Metroid Prime. So that's the first game. Another game, this one I did get a while ago, and I really need to talk about this game, and I'll tell you why I need to talk about this. I need to talk about it because back a few months ago, I made my video about the Persona series, and then I also did my video about Shin Megami Tensei 5, which I really enjoyed that game, and I ended up picking up SMT3 Nocturne on the Switch, the HD remaster, and I have to talk about this because in those videos in the comment section, you know, we talked about SMT3, the Persona series, a bunch of other SMT Mega 10 games, and this was one that I had even mentioned in the comments of one of those videos. Hey, like, you know, a lot of people are recommending all these games to me. Thank you for all those recommendations, by the way. This one was an easy one I could pick up because it's not that expensive right now on the Switch, and I figured I could just pick it up, give it a shot. And this is a game where I definitely have a sort of a love-hate relationship with it right now, where I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I think it's a lot of fun. It's some of the best JRPG turn-based combat ever, in my opinion. It's just so good. The SMT series and Persona is just so much fun, and there's so much customization with your party, and that's what I adore so much about them. And I also really like the philosophical stories in these games, where they're very untraditional. You know, it's not a very told to you kind of plot. It's very much representative and symbolic of things. This game also does not care about your feelings, and that's why I've not finished it yet. I've owned this for many months now. It's been a while, but I've not finished it yet because it is so difficult. It is extremely hard. I'm trying to stay on the normal difficulty because Merciful was just really easy, and I just, like, to the point where it wasn't even a challenge. It wasn't even fun anymore. So I'm trying to finish this game, but I've been taking breaks, plenty of breaks in this one because it's really long and it is very hard, but I just wanted to mention it. I think it is actually really awesome. It has a very sort of weak opening. I mean, I think the opening parts are good, but once you get to the first boss with Matador, I think is what he's called, the skeleton guy in the sewers, that's I don't like that part. It's my least favorite part of the game so far. I was not a fan of that. But I'm pretty far into it now, and I'm maybe about the halfway mark. But I've just taken a break to play some other games, and I'll eventually go back to it. The next game is one that I finished a couple weeks ago, and that's 13 Sentinels. I think it's Aegis Rim is how you say it. This game is also very awesome. It's such an epic sci-fi story. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cool. It was so cool what they did with this one and the writing. Honestly, it's hard to come up with more words to say about it, but I guess I can, to just keep it brief, I guess I could say that I think that it maybe was a hair too long and maybe a little too convoluted for me personally. But I actually really enjoyed playing it. I thought the story was phenomenal and an instant like sci-fi classic. It was really well written. And I even liked the combat. A lot of reviews were saying that the combat was like the weaker part of the game or just not as good. And it kind of, made me think that it wasn't going to be very fun. But I thought it was awesome. The RTS gameplay like made me want to go out and play more RTS games. I know that game Diofield Chronicles is out on Switch. It's been out for a while from Square. And I think that would be pretty cool to check out at some point. So yeah, 13 Sentinels is really amazing, and there's going to be more Atlas games coming up. And another one of them actually is Catherine Full Body. Now this is a game I never thought I would actually play. I mean, just look at it. This does not seem like my kind of thing. However, what kind of tipped me over the edge with this one is the fact that it is another Atlas title, and I'm a huge fan of Atlas. Right next to Nintendo, they're probably my favorite video game company in existence. And further than that, maybe my favorite, but top three, he's definitely in the top three. Katsura Hoshino has got to be one of my favorite video game directors of all time. And he actually directed this game right here. He's the same guy who directed Persona 3, 4, and 5, and he directed this. He also directed SMT3 Nocturne and a few other games too. And he has that new game Metaphor coming out. I'm really hoping that comes to Switch too. I'd love to play that game on there. But yeah, Catherine Full Body is basically like rated M Pushmo from the 3DS. It's really cool. It's really fun. And it's also, I just feel like a masterpiece, just the story and how it talks about relationships and the different dynamics and sides to that. It was so interesting to me. And I know it kind of looks like that type of game, but it really is quite special. And I enjoyed it quite a bit. And so very much a fan. And so another game I have not played yet, this is one that I just picked up yesterday, is Darkest Dungeon for the Switch. So me and my brothers went out to a local video game store. It's about 30 minutes from our house, but it's the closest one to us. It's called Superbit. It's really amazing. It's a wonderful video game store. It's our local place, and they had this one there, and they had it when we went earlier in the week, and then we came back later, and it was still there. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one up. I really want to give that one a shot. I thought it looked pretty cool, and some of the mechanics sounded like they would be things I would really vibe with. So figured I would give that one a shot and see what I thought. And another one, the next one up is Rune Factory 4 Special. So this kind of came about because I really wanted to play more RPGs with sort of like social sim and relationship building elements in them, because those tend to be my favorite types of games. Think of the Persona series or the modern Fire Emblem games, some of my favorite games of all time. And I know Rune Factory as a series has a lot of that in it, just like the Harvest Moon series, the Story Season games. And I got up to the credits. I actually got up to the credits in this one just last night, and then I was like, all right, I figured there's probably more content to this game, and y'all, if any of y'all have played this, you'll have to let me know in the comments if it's worth playing past the credits and like how much more content there is, if there's more story. Because I know with Animal Crossing New Horizons, once you saw the credits, the real game kind of began. And I figured this would be similar because it's also kind of that life sim farming type mixture game. But I really liked it. I thought there was actually some compelling writing in it. I thought everything with like the dragon and, you know, talking about, you know, what it means to, you know, be a god and that relationship between humans and the dragon, which they saw as kind of their god. It's very interesting. So I must say, I do like that game quite a bit. I thought it was really fun and cool, but you all have to let me know. I feel like there's more to this game than what I've seen. I've just kind of put it down for now so I could, you know, play Metroid Prime, but maybe I should go back. Y'all have to let me know on that. And then while I was at it, it was on sale, so I figured I would also pick up Rune Factory 5. Not played it yet. Not even so much as giving this game a whiff. I've not even put it in my Switch yet, but it looks awesome. It looks really cool. The cover looks awesome, and this is like the first full 3D game. And oh, I must say, I gotta show you guys this. So what I really like is that the company behind these games, Marvelous, they always put manuals in all of their games. Like, look how cool that is. You know, they put so much information. It's almost like its own little like guidebook to the game. So much so to where like they put information about the different creatures you can recruit in this manual. And I'm like, that is so nifty. Like, that is such a cool thing to put in here. And it also has this part right here where it says, you know, you can like sign and put your name and the date, because it's meant to look kind of like a handbook. I thought that was so cool, and I can't wait to play the game even more because of that. And same thing with Rune Factory 4. It also has a little manual in there as well. And I have a lot of respect for Marvelous for doing that, for putting in the extra effort to add a little bit extra, you know, bang for your buck in these games, because it's just cool to have like a little booklet to go alongside of games, because we don't really get that anymore, and it's kind of sad. I really miss when games had cool little extra things that you could look at on your way home from picking up a game when you were a kid. It was definitely a different time. It was quite special. But coming up next, we have No Kuni 2. I think it's Revenant Kingdom is what it's called. This one's a good game. This is kind of a weird one for me, because I got about 23, 4, 5 hours into it, and I started getting a little annoyed, not gonna lie. Like, some of the combat started wearing on me a little bit. I was dying quite a bit. I was playing on the hard mode, but I switched it to normal, and it was still very difficult. And it was difficult in a way that was just kind of annoying. Like, I could stick with it, and obviously I can do it. I got the gamer skills for it, I promise. But I don't know, I was just kind of like getting to a point where I was like, I feel like I've seen the best this game has to offer. Maybe I'll move on, and maybe I'll come back to it in the future. But right now, No Kuni 2, I like it more than the first one in terms of how it plays, but I do like the characters and story of the first one a little bit more. I just was not a fan of the combat from the first one, so not my thing. But yeah, pretty cool game. I'll probably go back to it eventually. Alright, so the next one is Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This was one that a coworker of mine was telling me all about and got me really pumped to play it. I didn't know when I was going to play this game. I just knew that eventually one day I would, and he kind of convinced me to go ahead and pick it up. So what do I think? I think this game is really amazing. You know, go figure. That's what everyone on the internet's been saying. Like, this game is quite fantastic. I think that it is definitely more than just a glorified DLC pack. I think it's way more than that. I thought the story was way cooler than Breath of the Wild. I found a lot of the gameplay mechanics to be really fun in this one. A lot of the new powers were cooler. The way they did these sort of like hero abilities was way better in this one as well. So to me, it feels like, for me personally, there's no reason for me to go back to Breath of the Wild when Tears of the Kingdom exists. But that's what I personally think. I thought it was really amazing, and I still, even though I finished this one, I've seen the credits and played through the story, I still keep it on the shelf. I still keep the cartridge near my Switch so that I can play it whenever I may want to. And to wrap things up, without making this video any longer than it needs to be, is not a Switch game for once. It's actually a 360 game. I got Skyrim the same time I got Darkest Dungeon. I got it yesterday. And you might be asking, Gage, why did you do this? Well, when I was a kid, I owned a copy of Skyrim, but I don't know what happened to it. I think I probably lent it to a friend of mine and just never saw it again after that, which actually ended up happening with a bunch of my games. You know who you are if you're watching this video. But yeah, Skyrim's just, it's a classic, right? You know, this game has been out on everything and for such a long time. basically everyone who's wanted to play it has played it. I've heard the Switch version is actually pretty good for this game, but I also see that it's a little pricier. I got this for like $6, super, super cheap. And I do have an Xbox Series X, so I could play this. Yeah, who knows? My brother's been telling me, Gavin from the All Forward podcast has been telling me that I should review Skyrim in the year 2024. I don't know, maybe we will, we'll see, but yeah, it's just figured I'd pick it up. I kept on talking about picking it up, but decided I would finally just bite the bullet and do it. I mean, it is like $6, so just give it a shot, you know. But yeah, those are my recent games that I have. I mean, I say recent, but really, these are like the newest games in my collection that I've been playing, or been getting ready to play, or am currently playing in the case of Metroid. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk about them, because like I said, sometimes I'm just sitting here like, man, I really want to make a video, but I don't know what to make. And sometimes I sort of doubt myself. I doubt, like, if I can make something good, make something that people can enjoy. And sometimes I just have to, I feel like, put some of that stuff aside, some of those thoughts aside, and just sit down and just talk, just talk about whatever's on my mind, whatever I've been up to, or just what interests me in that moment. So that's what I'm trying to do with this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. But really, I just thank you for hanging around this long, and that means a whole lot to me. I really appreciate that. I would really like to see this channel get past 500 subscribers, because we're extremely close to that mark at this point. We may have already passed it, I don't know, but last I checked, we're very close. So if we could get us up there, that would be awesome. That'd be really cool. Because they actually lowered the requirement for the creator program thing, where you could get ad revenue, to 500 subscribers, and then a certain amount of watch hours, which I don't know if I've hit that yet, but yeah, I mean, 500 either way would just be a cool milestone to pass. So I would appreciate that greatly if you would subscribe, if you're genuinely interested in following me along on this journey of life and seeing what other videos I end up getting up to, because I have a feeling that we're going to get in some crazy stuff in the coming year, but we shall see. But anyways, with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless.